So I think on our journeys through our own development, we get to encounter different scenarios, different experiences that come up in our lives that bring us back to original circumstances that inevitably remind us of versions of ourselves that we used to be. And I think the challenge for people is the fact that they let their circumstances dictate the way they show up because it represents a part of themselves that has gone through a process and has shown up a certain way in that environment. And I think the greatest opportunity that a lot of people are having right now through these transitions, through these cycles, is the fact that now we get to actually look at them from a different perspective, so that who we are now gets to be the version that shows up to that scenario, as opposed to the belief that the scenario dictates that we show up as our previous selves. And for myself, the way that's coming across is a couple things. One, because of the need to support myself financially, I've chosen to take a couple tasks on hand. Over the weekend I did some Uber driving, and then now I went back to the restaurant that I used to work at a few years ago, and that can seem like I'm back into the same cycle of now working the same job that I worked before. I went through, somewhat of a personal transformation, or my healing journey, or whatever you want to call that, just like life evolving itself. It can kind of seem like a regression if we end up in places where we once have been before, which can make a lot of people hesitant to actually, I think, do things that practically make sense, because it might represent the fact that it's something that we've done before. And a lot of people, myself anyway, have this need to constantly be moving forward. So I think it's important to be able to look at things from a different lens and a different perspective, to realize that you're not the same version that you were before, and therefore what the situation is calling for you and of you is totally something that is a thing that you're ready to now expand into and really embody at a deeper level. So the transition from going back to that job versus the last time you worked there is obviously a lot of introspection, and now that can kind of really settle into your system because you have this opportunity to be in an environment, in a situation that is calling you to now show up a different way. And this is also coming through for me with a trip that I have planned. I'm going to Italy in a couple of weeks for a retreat, and it's something that's brand new to me, something that I haven't done before in a group setting, with people who are well versed in the practices that we'll be doing and the skills that we'll be embodying. So it almost represents the same thing. Like, even though the work situation is sort of something that I've been involved in before, this dancing thing is brand new, and the opportunity to show up as this person that knows they need to embody some lessons and truths that are going to help them along the way, really get to start recognizing that there's a deep opportunity here in these things. It may or may not be pointing to the same internal pattern, and I think it's allowing us to really anchor in what we have called in for a very long time and are now taking action to go toward. For me, shooting these videos is a big step in towards, you know, just choosing to be of service and to learn to build my capacity to just be as I am, and to let myself, you know, share without too many restrictions on what it is that I feel like is appropriate or the best way to kind of get a message across. And sometimes having a lot on your plate and these different dynamics gives you the chance to recognize that how we show up in those situations versus how we might have in the past, there's this gap and this opportunity that's not only going to be something we learn in those situations, it may also help us show up as we're meant to going forward in the areas that we have really invested ourselves